Good afternoon, everyone. Got a few things to update you at the top here, and then I'll get right to your questions. Quite a bit to pass along, so thank you in advance for your patience. So Defense Department support to the state of Hawaii and FEMA in the aftermath of Maui's wildfires continues. As of today, U.S. Army Pacific Command, in its role as the Theater Joint Force Land Component Command, is conducting 6 approved mission assignments for FEMA, which include operation of a Defense Coordinating Element Office, which includes liaison officers, inter-island air and sea transportation for the movement of cargo, personnel, supplies, and equipment, use of the U.S. Army's Schofield Barracks on Oahu to support facilities for billeting, life support, and hygiene facilities for federal emergency responders, strategic transportation of personnel and or cargo, standby for aerial fire suppression, and use of the U.S. Army Reserve Center Wailuku and support as a FEMA incident support base and federal staging area for FEMA. Combined Joint Task Force 5-0 under the command of Army National Guard Brigadier General Stephen Logan, the dual status commander, is now at full operational capability and is actively synchronizing all DOD support to disaster relief operations. That support consists of a variety of ongoing activities and capabilities to include the Hawaii National Guard's response teams trained in a variety of hazardous material response, providing support to search and recovery operations. Additionally, Hawaii National Guard personnel continue to support local law enforcement by manning traffic control points and providing area security in Lahaina. Also, 2 Hawaii Army National Guard CH-47 Chinooks with aerial fire suppression buckets remain on standby to provide additional firefighting support to Maui as requested. Of note, these Army National Guard air crews have already dropped more than 189,000 gallons of water in support of firefighting efforts. Other DOD support includes the U.S. Army's 402nd Army Field Support Brigade, which has field service representatives on Oahu for communications and logistics support to CJTF 5-0 if needed. Additionally, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are currently managing 2 operational FEMA mission assignments for debris removal and temporary power. The 249th Engineer Battalion Prime Power Team and their Advanced Contracting Initiative contractors continue to support power generation requirements and assessments. This is a critical capability as FEMA moved 32 generators to Maui earlier this week, with an additional 61 generators pre-staged at Oahu. Additionally, U.S. Army Reserve personnel are supporting by enabling use of U.S. Army Reserve Center Wailuku as a FEMA incident support base and a federal staging area. In addition, the Air Force has established an Air Force Emergency Preparedness Liaison Officer on station in Oahu, while the Navy has 2 Navy Emergency Preparedness Liaison Officers on station, with 1 in Maui and 1 in Oahu. The Navy also has 2 MH-60R Seahawks and 3 CMV-22 Ospreys on standby to support incoming requests. U.S. Marine Corps aviation assets are also available to support and include MV-22 Osprey and KC-130J Super Hercules aircraft for material and personnel transport, as well as an MQ-9 remotely piloted aircraft for aerial survey. Additionally, the 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment has been made available to provide manpower, engineering, and water purification support as needed. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that our U.S. Coast Guard teammates in the Department of Homeland Security are also actively supporting this important effort. I'll, of course, defer to them for further details, but they're maintaining the focus of their response on minimizing maritime environmental impacts, while also remaining ready to respond to any new reports of people in the water. A safety zone has been implemented by Coast Guard Maritime Safety and Security Team Honolulu and the Coast Guard National Strike Force, encompassing waters extending 200 yards from shore in the Lahaina Harbor area. Altogether, nearly 700 DOD personnel, active, reserve, guard, and civilians, and 140 Coast Guardsmen are actively engaged in the coordinated response to the Western Maui wildfire. Moving forward, the Department of Defense and CJTF 5-0 will continue to work closely with state officials, FEMA, and other supporting agencies to support the people of Hawaii in response to this terrible disaster. And again, we're all watching the situation in Maui with heavy hearts, and our continued thoughts and prayers go out to those who have been impacted. In other news today, the department released the 2023 Military Service Academy On-Site Installation Evaluation Report, which includes recommendations to foster healthier climates and enhance prevention efforts at military service academies. As a critical leadership tool across the department, on-site installation evaluation reports are designed to understand policies and capabilities to effectively prevent self-directed harm and prohibited abuse or harmful acts, to include sexual assault, harassment, and suicide. Secretary Austin has made the prevention of sexual assault and harassment a top priority since the first days of his tenure, and he's continued to follow through on that commitment. As a result of this report, the Secretary is directing the department's most senior leaders to move quickly to implement transformational actions at the academies intended to reverse these alarming trends and prevent sexual assault, harassment, and other harmful behaviors. The department continues a collaborative and research-informed approach to prevention, and more information is available about the Department of Defense efforts to prevent harmful behaviors on our website at www.prevention.mil. Finally, the Department of Defense also released today its first biodefense posture review. As many of you are aware, the department and the nation are at a pivotal moment in biological defense, as highlighted in both the National Defense Strategy and our National Biodefense Strategy. As a result, this new posture review outlines specific reforms aimed to posture the department to fight and win in the face of complex future bio threats. The Biodefense Posture Review assesses the biological threat landscape through 2035 and lays the foundation for a resilient total force to deter the use of bioweapons, rapidly respond to natural outbreaks, and minimize the global risk presented by biological threats. For additional details, please see the full Biodefense Posture Review on defense.gov. And with that, I'll be happy to take your questions. We'll start with Associated Press, Lita Baldor.